welcome to Flow into Form. We're going to bring you some yoga flows that are going to be really accessible and also really beneficial to your golf swing. So join us, and I guarantee you with consistency, this is going to make you more flexible and also more powerful in your golf game. Let's go.
Let's begin in child's pose. Spread your knees to the outer edges of your mat. Sink your hips back towards your heels. Reach your arms towards the front of your mat and let your forehead rest with your eyes closed. Come into tabletop position, stacking your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists. Reach your right arm towards the front of your mat and your left leg towards the back of the room, foot flexed like you're stamping that back foot on the back wall. If it's accessible to you, reach back your right arm to connect with your left ankle or outer edge of your foot, bringing your gaze to the ceiling. Lift your left arm towards the front of the room, your opposite leg towards the back wall. Slowly reach back, connecting your leg and arm, setting your gaze to the sky. Back to tabletop, press back into downward facing dog, making yourself in the shape of an inverted V. You want to send your hips towards the ceiling and you want to let your gaze drop in between your feet. Step forward into ragdoll. Grab opposite elbows, again letting your gaze rest in between your legs. You want to feel a release in your lower back. Rise up into TADASANA, making yourself into a straight line, tucking your core in, gaze towards the sky, fingertips towards the ceiling. Halfway lift to a flat back, keeping your back as straight as a tabletop, setting your gaze in front of you so your neck and back are in line. Plant your hands, step your feet back, flip your feet so the tops of your feet are pressing into your mat. Press back and down your spine. Press back into downward facing dog. Bring your gaze up and bring your feet to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. With your feet hip width apart, rise to the top with your gaze at the ceiling, sending your shoulders down your spine. Forward fold. Halfway lift to a flat back. Plant your hands in front of your feet. Step back into high plank, into low plank, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet are hip width distance apart and press into the pads of your fingers. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise up into chair pose. You want to lift the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends. Deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Step back into high plank to low plank, halfway down. Flip the tops of your feet into your mat. Bring your shoulders back. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot to the front of your mat. Come up into crescent lunge. Bring your hands together to heart center, and then you want to twist to the left. So placing your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Come back into crescent lunge. Step back into high plank to low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Deep inhale and exhale. Step your left foot to the front of your mat. Right heel is stacked over your toes. Gaze is towards the front of the room. Bring your hands to heart center and twist to the left, bringing your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Feeling that spinal twist, come back up into crescent lunge and step back into high plank to low plank, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Step to the front of your mat, come to standing, and we're going to take eagle on the right, taking your right leg over your left and your right arm under your left. You're going to set your gaze in front of you and squeeze in. Eagle on the left. Take your left leg over your right and your left arm under your right. And again, squeezing everything in from skin to muscle to bone. Set your gaze to the front of the room. If you're a little bit wobbly, it means absolutely nothing. You fall out, you get right back in to the pose. Tree pose on the right. Take your left leg and you can place your foot on the inside of your left leg anywhere you feel comfortable except directly on your knee. Set your gaze here, your drishti, to an unmoving object that will help you keep your focus. Focus on your breath and tucking the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends so you create a straight line. Tree on your left, hands to heart center. Your left leg to any part on the inside of your right leg as long as it is not on your knee. And just breathe. Forward fold. Halfway lift to a flat back. Set your gaze at your mat, step back into high plank, chaturanga, low plank, to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come down onto all fours and drop back to where we began in child's pose. Feel how different this feels from the beginning of our practice, breathing deeply in and out.